everyone, this is Heather Smith with Storyville Photography, and today I'm going to show you how to achieve this edit. This is the before, and this is where we will end up. I took this image using the Canon R5 and the Canon 200mm 2.0f. I shot it at 2.0f, 320 ISO, and 1600 shutter speed. I took this during golden hour, and the light was just beautifully filtering through the trees, and it lit up her hair, and I just loved it. She was in her happy place here, climbing a tree, her little shoe untied, and I just love everything about this image. Anyway, I have this open into Lightroom, and the first thing I want to do is select the Storyville Spring Green Presets 2. And then I want to just push the temp slider over to the right to warm my image up a little bit. And then I also want to tone down the whites by bringing it down to about 40 on this preset. And the next thing I want to do is grab like the straighten crop tool and kind of just line the grids up with the tree and straighten it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will make it more eye appealing. And there we go. Now I'm going to open it up into Photoshop. Now that I am in Photoshop, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and make a copy of my background layer by hitting Command J. And I'm going to go up to my filters, Camera Raw filter, and I'm going to go ahead and stack a Simplicity preset on top of the spring green. I just love how it looks. You probably have seen me do this in many tutorials. I'm going to select the Simplicity 2 and hit OK. And the good thing about using the presets in the ACL Camera Raw filter is you can adjust the opacity. So say you just want it on slightly or, all the way. You have that power, which to my knowledge, you can't do this in Lightroom. So I'm going to leave it at about 73%. And you can also mask off the areas that you don't want the preset, which is a really nice feature of Photoshop. Or you can invert it and paint it on just the areas that you want. So what I'm going to do is turn this white layer mask black by hitting Command I. I'm inverting the mask so the total effect is invisible right now. And when you grab a soft white brush at 100% opacity, you can paint this preset effect on where you want it. So in this case, I'm just going to paint it on my daughter and make her stand out a little bit more. And I also want to paint it on the tree. And everything we do here is just going to build upon the effect and make the image more dramatic. So it's not like, oh, I used my cell phone picture. Anybody can do that. We want it to stand out. We want it special. So that's the before and after there. Okay, and now I'm going to go to layer and flatten my image. And I want to run the painterly action, one of my favorite actions. So I'm going to select it and hit play. Continue. And again, you can adjust the opacity for the effect if you want it stronger or weaker. Well, you can't make it any stronger than it already is there. But if you want to make it more intense, you just flatten it and you run the painterly again. But in this case, I'm going to keep it at 100%. I'm going to go ahead and grab a black brush. And the only place I want to wipe it off of is like her face there, her ears. If her hands were showing, I'd probably wipe it off of there too. Just wherever it looks a little bit weird, I'm going to go ahead and just brush it off. And that looks good to me. I think I'll keep the rest as is. And look how cool the tree is, guys. I mean, look at that. Do you see? That's the before and after. Love, love, love what it does to the tree. And everything. The hair. I'm obsessed with that action. So the next thing I want to do is go ahead and grab my Retouch. Open that up. And the first thing I want to do is brighten the skin and the eyes. So I'm going to come into here, and it's going to come on strong, but we will dial it back. Go over there. Her arms. And that looks a little bright over there, so we're just going to hit on her feet. I'm going to crank it to 0, or turn it down, I should say, and just kind of see where my eye likes it. And I say about 26% looks good. I'm going to come over to the brighten eyes. I'm going to go over her eyes right there. And that just kind of brought up the shadows. And then I want to come in here. And then you can always use the X button to switch back and forth between the black and the white brushes and just mask off where you don't want it by clicking. Okay, I'm going to turn that one down to 0 and then slowly raise it. That looks good to me. Before and after. And now I want to give her a little color to the cheeks. Y'all, I feel like kind of stupid because obviously I spelled Rosie right here and I don't know what was going on, but Rosie's spelled different here. Yeah, it was just one of those days. So y'all probably have an action. Well, you did because I never went back to change it, like with 2 different Rosies in there. Sorry about that. We all have our moments. Okay, so using a soft white brush, I'm going to use the Vibrant Coral and I'm going to expand it and just click it. And I think really just that cheek needs it. The other one kind of is already a little rosy. And that looks good. I think her lips look good, so we just needed a little bit of color to that one cheek. And now I want to fix this. If you can see, it's kind of like red-yellow. It doesn't quite match that ankle. So I'm going to come over here to the skin color correction. And I'm going to go to the reduce yellow, white brush, 100% opacity and flow, paint on. That was very subtle, but it made a little bit of a difference. So the next thing I want to do is go to the reduce red, and I'm going to paint that on there. And now they match a little bit more. Let me turn that down. So that's the before and after. Okay, moving on to my next favorite action, the ultimate dodge and burn. I'm going to hit play, continue, and then I'm going to open up the big group. And the first thing I want to do is work on her clothes. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to just add dodging. She's already quite dark, so I just really want to make those highlights pop. I'm going to run it over her shirt, her jacket, and I'm going to turn this down a little bit and dash it on her shoes, just kind of whiten those up a little. And that's good for me with the brightening up her clothes. I'm going to come into the skin and hair. We already kind of brightened her skin up with the retouch, so I just want to bring some shadows in, opacity 100%, and I'm going to hit kind of the bridge of her nose, eyebrows, and then I'm going to dial it back just a little, her hairline, just make her stand out a little bit more. So that's the before and after there. And now the environment, guys. I also love what this action does to the tree. It just makes it like metallic almost. So I'm going to grab the dodge and burn combo. I'm going to run over the tree with it. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Here you go. And that gives a good contrast with dodging and burning at the same time. I love it. And now I want to dodge a little bit more of this top part of the tree, really make it pop. It just looks so magical, like it should be in like, I don't know, a fairy tale. Little tree obsession going on over here. So, okay, and then I want to take the extra burn. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to go over the grass and stuff and really make her stand out and pop. Over the tree a little bit more. And I think that's all I need with the dodge and burn, guys. Look at the difference it made. So easy, but such a huge impact. I just love, love, love it. Now the next thing I want to do is obviously this white house in the background is doing nothing from the image. It competes for the focus and it draws it away from my cute little subject there. So what I did was I opened a photo from the same shoot. She's not looking so elegant there, but I saw this one, I'm like, I gotta take your picture. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is grab this marquee tool, the rectangle, or you can use the lasso tool or whatever you prefer. And I'm just gonna grab this little bit over here. It doesn't matter that our jacket's in the way. So I selected it, copied it, and I'm gonna paste it here. You guys, this is gonna look a little bit like a slop show, but we're going to also crop it in a little bit, and I'm going to add a light overlay, so it's not going to look terrible once we're done with it. Okay, Command T will free transform it so you can move it around to where you want. And I just kind of want to cover up the white. So you can also, if you wanted to, Command T, and if you hold down the shift, you can expand it, and then it will, you know, a little bit more coverage. Gonna hit the layer mask, soft black brush at 100% opacity. And you can also, if you want to see like where the house was a little bit through there, to make sure you're just covering that and not all other areas, you can lower the opacity there. And if you're doing this for a client or printing it out, I recommend like really spending some time and making sure there's like no weird lines or halos or whatever. But for what we're doing, this is going to be just fine. Okay, so again, a little sloppy there, but now like we're not competing for her attention, which is a good thing, right? Because you want your subject to stand out. So now what I want to do is I'm coming into my Ultimate Light Pack. I'm going to grab the Sunburst 10, drag and drop, or you can go to File, Open, and then type in what you want. I'm going to set this to screen mode, pull it up to the corner, and also by holding like the Shift key down, you can like rearrange the light rays or however you want it. I'm just going to leave it about there, and that looks good to me. And if you don't want any in your subject or at different areas, again, add a layer mask with a soft black brush. You can paint it off 100%, or, you know, if you want to leave a little on, lower the opacity or flow up here. And that is the before and after. And then now I want to just kind of crop it in a little bit more. To do that, I'm going to select my whole image by hitting Command A, or you can go up to Select and select all. And then also I want to free transform. So I'm going to just go ahead and grab the corner, and this makes it so the ratio doesn't like mess up. It kind of stays stationary, so it's good for printing. If you do want to adjust it, just hold the Shift down, and like I did with the sun overlay, it will, you know, skew it differently, but I'm not going to do that here. So here we go. Now that I have my selection, I'm going to go to Image and Crop. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is add a new layer, and I want to come up and I want to grab my floating particles brush. I have this in a few different packs, guys. It's not currently on the website by itself, but if you purchase the Apocalypse Walkers or the like Holiday Magic Pack, they're in there. And then I'm just going to use a white brush, and you can adjust the opacity by using the bracket keys to make them smaller, not opacity, smaller or larger. And I just love adding like a little, it just adds to the environment, and it's fun. Little floating particles. Okay guys, so there we go. That about does it. This is where we started, and this is where we finished. So you can find everything I used here at www.storyvillephotography.com. Thanks guys, have a great day. Bye.